When most of us think about yoga, we picture improving flexibility or building core strength, and that's all true. But what if the real magic isn't happening in our muscles, but, inside our skulls? Today, we're moving beyond the mat to explore the hidden science of how yoga really impacts your brain.
All right, so let's just cut to the chase. Could all that stretching and breathing actually be one of the best workouts you can give your brain? We're about to dive into the hard science that suggests the answer is a big, resounding yes.
Okay, but does this actually work? Well, a ton of research is coming out that says, yeah, absolutely. And we're not just talking about that temporary zen feeling after a class. The science shows that a consistent yoga practice can create real, measurable, long-term changes to the actual structure and chemistry of your brain. So how in the world does this even happen? Well, it's time we start thinking about yoga as less of a simple exercise and more of a tool for cognitive enhancement, a way to actively get in there and rewire the complex connections inside your mind.
People who've been doing this for years describe yoga as a kind of scientific system for balancing the brain's left and right sides. The whole idea here is that this balancing act, plus getting more blood flowing up there, helps tune up all those critical functions like your memory, coordination, and just your overall thinking.
Okay, let's start digging into the real science here, and we'll begin with the brain chemistry. It turns out yoga can basically flip a switch and flood your brain with a protein that is just absolutely essential for its health and growth.
And that protein has a bit of a mouthful of a name, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or let's just call it BDNF. The easiest way to think of it is like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. It helps your existing neurons thrive and, this is the really cool part, it encourages new ones to grow.
And here's why that matters so much. BDNF is basically the master controller for neuroplasticity, that incredible ability your brain has to rewire itself. So, bottom line, more BDNF means your brain is more flexible, more efficient, especially when it comes to learning new things and locking in those long-term memories.
And get this, the results can be absolutely mind-blowing. So there was this big study that followed people on a 3-month intensive yoga retreat. And the outcome? A 300%, that's a 3-fold increase in their BDNF levels. That is a massive, massive jump. Way more than you see with a lot of other interventions.
Okay, so from chemicals, let's move to construction. This chemical boost isn't just a temporary feeling, it actually leads to real physical changes. I'm talking about literally remodeling the architecture of your brain.
Yep, you heard me right. Yoga can literally build you a bigger, better brain. We've got brain scans that show long-term practitioners have more gray matter volume, and that means more brain tissue, more neurons, in the spots that are critical for thinking and, keeping yourself in check.
And this growth isn't random. It's happening in 2 real powerhouse regions. The hippocampus, which is your brain's memory center, and the prefrontal cortex, which is like the brain's CEO. It's kind of like upgrading your computer's hard drive and its processor all at once.
Okay, so what's the secret sauce here? How does yoga actually do this? Well, it's kind of like a 3-pronged attack. First, it dials down chronic stress, which protects your brain from the nasty effects of the stress hormone cortisol. Second, that intense focus you need in yoga, that directly fires up neuroplasticity. And finally, it hits the big red calm down button on your body's relaxation system through something called the vagus nerve. And that, right there, brings us to our third piece of the puzzle, the incredible power of your own breath. This is where yoga basically hands you the keys to hack into your body's automatic operating system, your nervous system.
The yogic term for this is pranayama. It's all about controlling your breath, and it really does act like a remote control for your inner state. You can use it to intentionally switch from feeling stressed out to being calm and focused. So this is the system we're talking about. You've got your sympathetic system, that's your fight or flight gas pedal, and then you have the parasympathetic system, your rest and digest brake pedal. The problem is, modern life has our foot slammed on the gas pretty much 24/7. Pranayama is what lets you consciously, deliberately hit the brakes.
And this isn't just about feeling good. It gives you a real performance boost. For instance, studies show that slow breathing techniques, like alternate nostril breathing, can actually cut your reaction times by 8% on tough mental tasks. And you don't even lose any accuracy. That's a serious cognitive edge, and it's all just from breathing. But here's the cool part. It's not a one-size-fits-all deal. Slow, deep breathing, that's your ticket to laser-like focus. But then there are these faster breathing techniques that can rev up your brain for tasks that need super quick thinking and fast motor skills. So what that means is you can literally choose your breath to match your goal.
All right, that was a lot of science, I know. So the big question is, how do you actually use this stuff? Let's break down 3 specific practices that were highlighted in the research that really bring all this science to life. First up, we've got an active pose, Bakasana, or as most people know it, crow pose. This is one of those arm balances that requires some serious concentration and physical control. That whole process of shifting your weight, finding that sweet spot of balance, it's an incredible workout for your mental focus and just being present. Next, let's talk about an inversion, Sarvangasana, or the shoulder stand. When you lift your legs and torso up like that, you're changing the blood flow in your body, and you need this incredible stability to hold the pose. It's a physical challenge that really tests your balance, your control, and your ability to just stay calm when things get tough. And for our third one, we've got a meditation technique. It's called Brahmahandhyan. As the yoga master Himalayan Siddhaksha puts it, this isn't about just emptying your mind. Nope. It's an active practice where you visualize the entire solar system while really leaning into feelings of love and gratitude. And check this out. See how this connects right back to everything we've been talking about? The benefits are basically a wish list for a better brain, a stronger mind, better memory, sharper focus, the whole package. So really, the big takeaway here is that yoga isn't just random stretching. It's this ancient, systematic method for tapping into the incredible potential that's already sitting right there inside your brain. And all this really just leaves us with one final big question for you. The science is pretty darn clear. There's a direct line from these physical practices to some really profound changes in your mind. So if you hold the tools to literally build a better, stronger brain right inside your own body and breath, what are you waiting for?